Welcome to my educational series where you can improve your English proficiency and prepare for exams like TOEFL and IELTS. In this episode, we'll focus on an academic topic. You will hear a talk followed by several questions. I recommend that you take some notes while listening because it will help you at the end of the conversation to answer all of the questions in the quiz correctly. So let's listen to it.
Today, we're walking right past the simple fruit aisle and really digging into something way more complex.
Okay.
Ingenious evolutionary engineering, disguised as lunch. Forget the nutritional labels for just a second. We're looking at fruits not really as food, but as these highly sophisticated biological dispersal machines.
That's a really critical shift in perspective. Yeah, when we look at the sources you've gathered, it just becomes so clear that every single fruit, from the most exotic thing you can imagine to a common apple, it's a complex reproductive vehicle.
Right.
All plants make fruits with seeds, okay, but the evolutionary strategies they use to get those seeds scattered, they're just astonishingly diverse, wildly different.
So our mission today is to really get into the mechanics of that scattering. How does it work? We're going to explore why some fruits evolve to be just, irresistible, using total seduction, employing animals as like a delivery service, while others rely on pure mechanical, self-propelling force, like tiny cannons.
It's a true evolutionary divergence, isn't it? You have these plants investing all this energy into what's basically a high-end chemical bribe, sugars, colors, scents.
The whole package.
The whole package. And then you have others operating on pure physics, making what are essentially, microscopic landmines designed for rapid local seed deployment.
Okay, let's unpack that grand strategy first, the seduction one. The system relying on the animal delivery machine. This is the model we're probably most familiar with, right? Especially from farming.
Yeah, the mechanism seems simple, deceptively so, and it's totally transactional.
How so?
Well, the fruit gives a reward, juicy, tasty flesh. That attracts the animal eats it. But the seeds inside, the important bit, they have these tough skins. They're specifically engineered not to be digested.
Okay, protected cargo.
Exactly. They're meant to pass right through.
But wait a minute. If distance is the goal, isn't relying on an animal's digestion kind of risky? What if the animal just wanders 20 feet and then, drops the seed? Seems like the plant invested all that energy in sugar just for the seed to land right next door, competing with its own parent.
That's a really valid point. It's definitely a risk-reward calculation for the plant. Evolution seems to have tackled that risk in a couple of ways. High volume is one.
Make lots of fruit.
Make loads of fruit, to offset the inevitable failures. And quality packaging for the seed itself. As you said, tough skins, often coated with compounds that resist stomach acid. They pass through intact.
Okay.
So the ultimate goal is achieved. The seed gets scattered, hopefully far away, and it arrives with its own little starter pack of fertilizer in the animal's droppings, which is pretty ideal for a new plant.
That makes sense. And this connects to the bigger picture. This is where we humans come in and really mess with that evolutionary contract, don't we?
Oh, absolutely.
The fruits we eat, the commercial ones, they're cultivated types, bred specifically for bigger size, better flavor, and often, kind of ironically, for the complete lack of the very seeds that the fruit was designed to protect and spread.
We have totally amplified the reward, the fleshy part, while basically disabling the reproductive mechanism.
We've become the ultimate hijackers of this plant system.
We really have. We've co-opted it completely for our own purposes.
So let's look at some specific ways this seduction strategy plays out, starting with a classic soft-skinned one, the berry, like grapes.
Right, grapes. They're soft, thin-skinned berries. They grow in these convenient edible clusters. A natural wild grape usually has several seeds inside the flesh, makes it an efficient kind of snack-sized delivery package for lots of different animals, small and medium ones.
What I find fascinating here is how targeted it can be. Berries are often really vividly colored, right? Deep purples, bright reds. And that's not accidental. It's like an explicit visual signal, specifically designed to attract birds, isn't it? It really highlights the bird's excellent color vision as the plant's sort of target audience.
It's literally a color-coded message. Birds see that bright color, they eat the fruit, they fly off. And crucially, birds often excrete seeds relatively quickly, and usually without grinding them down like some mammals might. So viability stays high.
But like you said, we've intervened again massively. When we talk about seedless grapes, That's a huge evolutionary detour we've engineered through breeding.
Yeah, a complete workaround.
How did that even work? How does a plant make fruit if it's not fulfilling its, reproductive destiny?
We've bred them to use a process called parthenocarpy. Fancy word. It just means the plant develops the fruit structure without fertilization happening. Normally in nature, fruit development gets triggered by successful fertilization. But we've selected plants with genetic quirks that bypass that trigger. Or sometimes we use artificial growth hormones. So you get a fruit that looks complete, but from the plant's point of view, it's functionally sterile.
A dispersal machine with a broken engine. Got it. Okay, that context is important. Let's move on from the soft, colorful berry. Strategy 2. The hard pit defense. This feels more structural, a focus on resilience.
Yeah, now we're talking about drupes. Think peaches, plums, apricots, cherries, that category. The defining thing here is that juicy, tasty flesh enclosing a really hard pit, sometimes called the stone or endocarp. And inside that pit, usually just a single seed.
Right. So the flesh is still the bribe, the attraction meant to be eaten for dispersal, just like the berry. But the pit is like a final defense, a heavily armored layer for that one precious piece of cargo inside. It feels like the plant decided to put all its energy into protecting one high-quality seed instead of scattering lots of smaller ones.
That's a great way to put it. It's a calculated evolutionary decision. Less volume maybe, but much higher protection for what's there. That pit is designed to withstand a lot. A rodent's teeth, a large animal's digestive system.
Everything.
Pretty much everything, yeah. It maximizes the chance that even if the fruit gets crushed or chewed on the way, the seed itself survives. It stays viable.
But, if the goal is maximum dispersal, spreading far and wide, why put all your eggs in one basket with this tough pit? Doesn't that limit the kinds of animals that can actually disperse it? Unlike the berry, which seems more generalist.
Well, it might narrow the field, but it often involves specialized animal partners. Large herbivores or primates might swallow the whole thing and pass the pit intact, sure. But the plant's biggest threat might actually be smaller animals, ones that would try to chew through to the seed kernel inside, which is usually packed with nutrients.
So the pit is specifically to stop those guys, the seed predators.
Exactly, it blocks them. But this raises the next interesting point. What happens when an animal figures out the defense anyway?
Right. Nature always finds a way, doesn't it?
It certainly tries. And not all animals play by the plant's rules. Some, like parrots, for instance, they have these incredibly powerful specialized beaks. They're like nature's nutcrackers. They can actually crack open those super hard pits and eat the seed kernel inside. They completely defeat the protective barrier the plant worked so hard to build.
Wow. So the plant's strategy isn't foolproof. Okay, now, let's talk about the really alternative option, the purely ballistic one. This is the total opposite of seduction, right?
Absolutely.
We're shifting from sweet chemical bribes, which must cost the plant a ton of energy in sugars and pigments, to pure physics, stored mechanical force. Doesn't that just fundamentally change the plant's whole energy budget?
It absolutely does. The plant diverts that energy away from making sugars and colors and instead invests it in developing structural tension within the fruit. This is the strategy used by the wild ancestors of many legumes. Think fava beans, for example. The fruit is actually the whole pod.
And the wild versions of these beans and similar plants, they don't bother attracting animals at all.
Nope, no energy wasted on bribes. They rely entirely on a zero-animal mechanical option. It's all physics.
Tell us about the physics then. It's not just a random splitting open, is it? It sounds more engineered than that.
Oh, it's highly precise engineering. It usually relies on hydration and tension, a process sometimes called differential drying.
Differential drying.
Yeah. The plant grows the pod, seeds mature inside. Then the pod walls start to dry out. But, and this is the key, the inner and outer layers of the pod wall are structured differently. They dry at different rates.
Creating stress.
Exactly. This differential shrinkage builds up immense internal tension, like coiling a spring tighter and tighter. Sometimes it's called turgor pressure building up.
So the plant is basically winding itself up, creating a natural spring mechanism under huge pressure.
Precisely. And once that internal tension hits a critical point, the pod just snaps open, usually along a predetermined seam, the line of least resistance. All that stored energy is released explosively.
Pop.
Bang, it literally shoots the seeds outwards, scatters them immediately, locally, right onto the ground nearby. It guarantees instant dispersal without needing any animal middleman and without spending energy on sugars.
That is amazing, a self-detonating fruit pod. And that method isn't just for bean pods, right? There are other versions.
Oh, not at all. Plants use all sorts of mechanical dispersal. Some are like shakers, think poppies. The pod dries, little holes open up, and the wind shakes the seeds out as the stalk blows around.
Okay.
Others are true slingers, or catapulters, where the whole fruit structure helps launch the seeds. Probably the most famous explosive example is the squirting cucumber.
Squirting cucumbers.
Seriously!
Huh.
It builds up so much internal pressure that if you touch it when it's ripe, the fruit detaches from the stalk and blasts its seeds and sticky pulp out of the hole where the stalk was attached. Quite forcefully, too.
That is, wow. Nature is wild. It's incredible how evolution swings between this finely tuned chemical bribe and a literal self-detonating device. But this brings up a really important question. If the main goal is safe dispersal, and we know sweetness attracts the right kind of carrier, why aren't all fruits delicious? Why bother with poison?
Because not all fruits are edible to us. And that's the crucial distinction we need to make. We can kind of anchor this idea using the tomato, the common garden tomato. Safe, edible fruit for us. But some of its wild relatives...
They're dangerous.
Extremely poisonous, yeah.
Okay, so that means the plant hasn't chosen humans or maybe other similar large mammals as its preferred delivery service. It's actively evolved to deter us.
Exactly that. Take deadly nightshade, for instance. It's actually in the same family as the tomato, and it is absolutely lethal to humans, high concentrations of toxic alkaloids.
Chemical warfare in a berry.
Pretty much, but the plant isn't just being mean. It's prioritizing its own reproductive success. It's protecting its seeds from being eaten and destroyed by generalist consumers like us.
So if it's lethal to us, how on earth do the seeds get scattered? Who's doing the job?
This is where you see the biological loophole. Nature finds a way. While deadly nightshade berries are lethal to mammals like us, certain specialized dispersal agents, often specific types of birds, can eat them without any harm. Their physiology is just different. For example, birds might like the specific nerve receptors that those particular toxins target in mammals, or their digestive systems process and excrete the toxins much more efficiently, so they can eat the berries, fly off, pass the seeds safely. While mammals like us are strongly discouraged, to put it mildly, the poison ensures only the plant's intended specialized delivery service gets the reward and does the job.
That is next-level targeted marketing by a plant. Incredible.
Yeah.
And just as a final family fact here, to underline how diverse and chemically potent this plant group is, tomatoes, deadly nightshade, and chili peppers.
All related.
All related. All members of the nightshade family, Solanaceae. The chili pepper producing capsaicin. The heat chemical.
Which is another chemical deterrent. That heat is meant to keep certain mammals from eating the fruit and crushing the seeds. Though, like the nightshade toxin, it fails spectacularly when it runs into our particular evolutionary tastes. We actively seek it out.
Humans just break all the rules, don't we?
We certainly complicate things for plant evolution.
So let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean? We started with, the simple idea of a fruit. And we've uncovered this whole world of targeted evolutionary strategies. It's like a reproductive battle fought on so many fronts. From vivid colors aimed right at bird vision, to those impenetrable armored pits built for mammal digestion, to the pure physics of self-propelling explosions, and even chemical warfare using specialized poisons.
So the next time you look at a piece of fruit, any fruit, try to remember it represents more than just food. It's a deeply sophisticated piece of biological machinery, designed ultimately for one purpose: to travel, to get far away, land safely, and secure the next generation for that plant line.
It's like an incredibly diverse instruction manual disguised as a convenient snack.
That's a perfect way to think about it.
It really is. Okay, on that note, we'll leave you, our listener, with one final thought to maybe mull over. It ties back to the beginning of our chat.
Yeah.
Think about that cultivated seedless grape we discussed, produced through parthenocarpy, fruiting without fertilization. We have essentially hijacked the plant's entire dispersal system for our own convenience, right? We made the fruit better for us, but totally useless for the plant's own reproduction without our direct help.
Complete dependence.
So what long-term evolutionary cost might that dependence on us have for that whole plant lineage? And maybe more broadly, what does it tell us about our sheer power to co-opt and fundamentally alter natural systems through selective breeding in agriculture? Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. Until next time, keep digging into the details.
Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have learned something new and useful, and see you in the next episode. Bye.